Girls, this will be another math session. Today's math session will deal with ratios and ratio tables. A ratio is a comparison between two quantities. It could be a part-to-part comparison, a whole-to-part comparison, or a part-to-whole comparison. Okay, we're going to represent ratios in the form of a fraction. That's how we're going to complete it. And make sure, again, you label what your actual quantities stand for. So we look at number one here. We're going to write a ratio that describes this situation. And over here, the directions are A to B. So we'll write this as a fraction from A to B. So we calculate how many A's do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4 A's. How many B's? 1, 2, 3. 3 B's. So this is a correct, my actual ratio, which is a fraction, is represented in the same, again, written format from A to B, A being listed first and B being compared second. Again, this is a comparison of the situation of as letters A and B. There are 4 A's to every 3 B's. All right, part 2 here is referencing a tape diagram. A tape diagram is equal segments within a situation, again, that should also allow you to necessarily find out how much each of these sections are worth. And how do you complete a tape diagram? Well, they gave us a total of 12 hours. We're going to add each segment. There's a total. This ratio is 3 to 1. 3 segments here, 1 segment here. Well, you add all segments. 3 plus 1 is 4. You divide the total by the total amount of segments, which is 4 here. So now we have 12 divided by 4 is 3. So each segment is represented by 3 hours. Our total was 12 hours total. The directions for this is to find how many hours you work versus your friend. So now you can identify you work 3, 6, 9 hours. You work 9 hours. Your friend only works 3 hours. The last portion of this is a ratio table. Okay, a ratio table. Back to ratio tables. What a ratio table is, it is ratios that are being compared within a table sense. Again, we're looking at ratios as fractions. So just look at fractions that are the same when they are simplified. They're equivalent fractions. So again, ratio tables are equivalent fractions. All right, so if we look at this first one here, we have to identify, to create an equivalent ratio, which again is an equivalent fraction, we got to make a comparison between numerators or denominators. In this case, we can't compare 6 to nothing, so we can't do that right now. We can't compare 5 to 15. How can we get from 5 to 15? Times 3. Whatever you do to the bottom, you must do to your top. So we're going to multiply 6 times 3. And right here, I'm just showing my thinking right now. So 6 times 3 would be 18. And this is equivalent. 6/5 is equivalent to 18/15. If you were to simplify, 18 divided by 3 is 6. 15 divided by 3 is 5. So 6/5 does equal 6/5. Now we have to make a comparison. We can't go from 5 to nothing. We have to go now to 6 to 36. How can you get from 6 to 36? Times 6. And we do the same method at the bottom here. We multiply 5 times 6. Make this equivalent. Again, 5 times 6 is 30. So we have a ratio table that displays 3 equivalent fractions here. Equivalent, again, they are all equal. They are of the same quantity in the same comparison. All right, number 2 here. We're comparing now. The comparison we have is girls to boys. Again, this is a ratio. A ratio compares 2 or more things. In this case, these 2 quantities are girls to boys. So this one looks a little different. It's a little unique here. So we started from 81 to 72 as our original ratio or fraction. And we're going from 72 to 16. But we have this gap here. This gap is here for a reason. We can't go from 72 to 16. Something times 16 is not going to give us an equal amount of 72. So nor does 72 divided by something give you 16 evenly. So we have to do a scale back method. We have to simplify 81 over 72 we can look at the GCF of 81 and 72, and you can find that is 9. So 81 divided by 9, 72 divided by 9, and that's going to give us our outcome here. 81 divided by 9 is 9. 72 divided by 9 is 8. Now you can make a comparison. How can we now get from 8 to 16? That can now happen. Well, we multiply it by 2 to get there. Whatever you do to the bottom, again, you do to the top. So we're going to multiply 9 times 2. We're going to get 18. Now these three ratios, which are fractions, they are equivalent. They all simplify to get 9/8. If you divide 81 times 9, divided by 9, you're going to get 9. 72 divided by 9, you will get 8. 16 divided by 2, you will get 8. 18 divided by 2, you will get 9. They all are equivalent. They all equal the same quantity when they're simplified.